101 New Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's an entrepreneur helping people break limits and build a life that lasts. And of course, an author too. And his debut book entitled No Ceiling, No Excuses, no other than Mr. Chris Capuano.
Nice. You said my name perfectly. Thank you. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm fabulous, fabulous, Mr. Chris. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Absolutely. Happy to be here. So yeah, my name is Chris Capuano. Just released my debut book about 2 weeks ago entitled No Ceiling, No Excuses. All about people that are feeling currently stuck in their moment in time and they want to kind of break past the ceiling that is temporarily holding them down. That ceiling could be friends. It could be family. It could be something inside of their head that's just not letting them be the true self that they know internally that they're meant to be. It could be noise from the outside, whether, like I said, it's a family or it's a friend or it's something they heard online that's just preventing that person, that listener, from blowing past and being Willy Wonka in the movie, The Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and blowing past that glass ceiling at the end of the movie.
Mr. Chris Capuano, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. How do you define the concept of no ceiling in the context of chasing personal dreams?
Yeah, really good question, Daniel. So no ceiling with chasing personal dreams could be something that maybe a seed planted inside of your head. And it could have been a seed that was planted in your head maybe 10 years ago, maybe 1 year ago, maybe 10 weeks ago, maybe 10 seconds ago, that is just stopping you from letting you do what you ultimately want to do. And it could be a multitude of things. It could be something that someone said to you, could be something that that maybe you read online or maybe read in a book and it said, no, like, save your money, don't go into debt, right? Meanwhile, a lot of the things that are out there are kind of the opposite of what will let you succeed in life. People always say, oh, save your money, take the secure job, don't take risks. I say, screw all that. Do the opposite, take risks, spend money, put yourself into debt, as long as it's smart debt. There's a difference between stupid debt and smart debt. If you go out and you get a Ferrari, that might be stupid debt if you can't afford it, right? But if you go out there and you decide that, hey, I'm going to buy maybe a house, right? And I'm going to put myself into debt. So that way in maybe, 10 years, maybe my goal is to pay off that house in 10 or 15 years. And then at that point you have cash flow and you could utilize that money towards maybe a future rental property. Maybe that's smarter debt, right? So it's just knowing the difference between those two.
What are the most common excuses you have seen people use to stall their dreams, and how does your book address them?
So the book addresses it a couple different ways. It kind of helps you snap out of that autopilot mode that a lot of people seem to fall into, right? A lot of people are kind of stuck and frozen, which is like inaction all day will totally suck the life out of everything, right? If you're the type of person that gets stuck in the mud and you just feel like you're complacent, or maybe you just need to be a little bit motivated, this is the book for you. It really is, because it's going to help you realize that even if let's say you're a musician, for example, okay, and you're working on your album or you're working on a song and you feel like the song it's getting there, it's almost done, but you feel like it's not perfect, so you don't end up releasing it. This book is meant to basically push you over the finish line and say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to release it, even though it's not quote unquote perfect. And at least mediocrity is better than taking no action. That's my whole thought process here, is like, I put out this book. It's not perfect by any means, right? It's actually my first book, and thank God I had my my editor, Jen Fauci, rip the book apart and actually make it somewhat readable, right? And I think she actually crushed it. So I think it's very readable and seems to be getting really good reviews online. So I'm really thankful for her for that. But it all comes down to just putting something out there that you may not necessarily love 1,000%, but as long as you love it, let's say 90% or 95%, it's better than not putting anything out there at all.
Definitely. Stop procrastinating, people. If you have the passion to write or whatever talents you have, share to the world. What practical steps does your book offer to help readers identify and clarify their dreams?
Absolutely. So I actually talk about the hustle framework. Okay. The hustle framework is something that I came up with. Now, the H is going to stand for hunger. It basically is talking about the burning inside of you that wants to go out there and just take over the world. Without hunger, you're not going to get anything done. You have to stay motivated. You have to stay hungry. Now, U is stands for understand the game. What that means is that life is ultimately a big game. You're either on the mouse wheel or you're getting out of the rat race. Okay. Do you want to stay in that rat race where every day you're doing the same thing over and over and you're just not getting anywhere? Or do you want to bust out and do something you're really proud of, right? S is going to stand for sell yourself. You are the product. People are buying you. They don't care about what the heck you're selling. They care about what you are, what you stand for, what you're selling, nothing else, okay? I could be selling paint and I would crush it, okay? Because people are buying me. They're not buying my paint, right? It goes for whatever service, whatever your industry you're in. Yes, you have to have a good product and you have to know what the heck you're selling, but at the end of the day, people are buying you, right? So the L is going to stand for leverage your lessons, okay? Leverage your lessons mean the entire time that you're alive, every single day you should be learning lessons. I know I do. If you're not, you got to open your eyes a little bit wider, right? You have to learn as much as you can for everyone, and you have to really believe that everyone can teach you something in life. Even if you feel like you know everything this person has to offer, you're wrong. The second you think that, you instantly became the stupidest person in the room. The E is going to stand for earn while you sleep. Earn while you sleep. What that means is creating systems and scaling so that way you can capitalize and you can extrapolate the most amount of revenue possible out of every single second in your day. And it comes down to efficiency and making the most of your time.
I like that, Mr. Chris. Earning while you're sleeping. A passive income indeed. How does No Scaling, No Excuses differ from other motivational books about achieving goals?
Love that question. So this is not just your typical sales book that teaches you a couple different sales strategies. It's kind of like the raw memoir to my life, right? So the first third of the book is my story. Talks about how, unfortunately I have still have thank God she's alive, right? My alcoholic mother. Okay, so every day after 4 p.m., I have to stop talking to her because there are things that are said and actions that are done that I know are not truly her. Okay, it also talks about how her boyfriend raised me at the time, who was unfortunately addicted to drugs, and kind of talks about what it was like growing up in that horrible environment and atmosphere and the different stories that I could kind of share with that. Second part of the book is all the different jobs that I had. I went from talking about how I was a broke busboy to being a waiter, to being a power washer, to becoming a top-rated eBayer, to becoming a drop shipper, to flipping women's shoes, to becoming a union steam fitter, to even driving for Uber. And then eventually the third part of the book is all about how I got in the business that I'm in now, which is merchant services and point of sale systems, and how I help small to medium businesses grow and scale their business and generate more and more revenue.
We salute you for your resilience, Mr. Chris.
Thank you.
We're proud of you for sharing your story to the world to empower us. What role does mindset play in breaking the cycle of stalling and taking action and outlined in your book?
So mindset is everything. If you go in with a bad or negative mindset, you're not going to get anything done. You're literally going to just hurt yourself. So if you change your mindset, you're changing your life. If you put positive thoughts in your own head, you're going to get positive results in the end. There's a really amazing book called The Magic. Not sure if you're familiar with it, but it teaches all about gratitude and being thankful for even the smallest things in your life. When I wake up every day, I trained my brain to thank God that I woke up. I thank God for the feet on my body, the lungs in my chest, my heart, my eyes, just being able to see and smell and feel. We are so lucky and we are not promised tomorrow. Unfortunately, my dad passed away about 2.5 years ago, and it just taught me that life is so short and you can't go on scared in life. You have to make the most of your days not make the most days out of your life, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Mr. Chris, can you describe a specific strategy from the book for overcoming a fear or self doubt when pursuing a dream?
Yeah, so it goes back to just committing and just getting something done. Even if you're afraid that you're not going to do it perfectly. I go in my book, I talk about how I kind of suck at three things: geography, sports, and history. And then the fourth bonus thing I suck at is putting together IKEA furniture. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to go to IKEA and buy furniture. It just means I'm going to go to IKEA, buy furniture, and know that I'm going to screw it up when I first try to put it together. But that doesn't stop me from buying IKEA furniture, right? If you go in with the mindset of, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to screw it up, but it's going to be okay. You're going to get so much more done in a day than if you would have just never tried to go out and buy that desk to begin with.
Yes, indeed. And how do you guide readers to balance dreaming big with taking realistic, actionable steps?
So I always say dream big, but don't be unrealistic, right? Like it's not my dream to be in a private jet living the Elon Musk life, right? It's just not me personally. I would actually hate that life. Me, I want to be able to live a very comfortable life. Okay. And what that means to me is spending time with my wife. We have amazing animals, spend time with, my cats, right? And maybe eventually we'll have a little farm. Who knows? Right. But it's not living like that billionaire lifestyle. I don't want to go to the club and pop bottles of Dom Perignon at 1 a.m. I want to be sleeping by like 10:30 at night, right? Like I just want to be in bed watching movies. Yes, I do want to have a big screen TV and I want to have the new technology that's OLED and I want the nice fireplace in the house, right? But I'm not dreaming of having a 10,000 square foot house where it's way bigger than what I need it to be. So I always say dream as big as you realistically want in your life without over dreaming. Because if you over dream, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? If you
Yes.
over dream, then you could work your ass off. And I'll tell you what, to get to the stat, I know millionaires, I know people that are worth over 100 million. I even know some billionaires. The amount of stress that these people have in their life is not something that I would personally be able to deal with. And I've read somewhere that your level of success is directly correlated with how well you manage stress. Me personally, I feel like I've gotten better at managing stress over the years, but it definitely affects me, right? I don't know about the listeners, but I know stress affects me. And yes, you could do breathing techniques, you could listen to music, you could do all that kumbaya stuff. But at the end of the day, if you have a client screaming at you, cursing at you on the phone, it's going to affect your mood. So if you could try to limit the amount of stress that you occur in a day, I feel like that's ultimately the key to success.
Very well said, Mr. Chris. Beautifully articulated. What advice does the book offer for dealing with external obstacles like financial or time constraints?
So we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? You have the
Yes.
same 24 hours. I have the same 20. Even Elon Musk has the same 24 hours. But the question is, how do these people get so much more done in a day than the average person? And it all goes back to making the most of your time, being as efficient as possible, right? If I give you a task and I say, hey, I expect you to get XYZ done, it should take about 2 hours. Chances are it's going to take you about 2 hours to get it done, right? But if I tell you, hey, I want you to get this done in an hour and a half, you're going to figure out how to get it done in an hour and a half. And guess what? If I tell you how to get it done in 45 minutes, you're going to cut a little bit of maybe quality out, but you're still going to get it done in 45 minutes if I'm your boss, right? So if you just live your life like you really need to maximize your time, because at the end of the day, if you're not maximizing your time, you're wasting your time, right? So
Yes.
if you could capitalize on every single second and every single microsecond of your life, then you're going to get the most out of it. And that's what this comes down to, is getting the most out of your life and getting the most done.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Chris. And as an entrepreneur, a debut author, and helping people break limits and build life that lasts, what are your short term and long term goals?
Short-term goals, build a house. That's my goal. Been looking for a house for honestly over 10 years. Finally got a nice piece of land. I'm going to be building a house. So hopefully we could get through that. So fingers crossed. Long-term goals. I want to get more and more involved into real estate. The house I'm building right now is my first piece of real estate. So I know that that's ultimately where you can make a lot of money and, hopefully minimize the amount of stress, right? The business I'm in is, I think, a lot more stressful than real estate, but I don't know. I could be ignorant to that fact. Who knows? But yeah, ultimately, I want to get more and more involved in real estate, whether that means doing flips or doing short-term rentals, long-term rentals, or I don't know, something along those lines. Maybe buying an apartment building with maybe 10 doors on it, and figuring that out, getting some sort of cash flow while you're maximizing the appreciation. I think is a smart idea. So
Good luck to your
thank you.
goals, Mr. Chris, and looking forward for more success. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Absolutely. So this is my book right here called No Ceiling, No Excuses. Okay. And
Yes.
in my book, there's actually a section called recommended reading. And one of the first readings or one of the first books is called Verbal Judo. It's by George Thompson. It's the book that taught me that communication is everything. And it talks all about tactical empathy, talks all about how words, the most dangerous muscle in the human body is actually the human tongue because
Yeah.
you could say something and then you can't take it back. So the guy that wrote this, his name is George Thompson. I believe he's a retired detective, unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But he talks all about how if you use the right words, you never have to use any sort of, physical, restrainment or anything like that. If you're a police officer or detective, he believes that through successful tactical communication, you can get most people to do anything you say if you say it the right way, with the right tone and the right message behind the actual words that you're saying. Because it's not just what you say, but obviously how you say it.
Thank you for that recommended book, Mr. Chris. How does No Ceiling, No Excuses address the needs of people at different life stages, from young adults to retirees?
Yeah, so No Ceiling, No Excuses addresses different lifestyles in their lives because I feel like no matter where you are in your life, you're going to find something in this book to connect with. Whether it's me talking about my childhood and how maybe it wasn't the most picture perfect childhood, right? Or one of the different jobs that I had along the way. There's a lot of waiters out there. There's a lot of building trades, people out there. There's a lot of people that are just trying to hustle and they're throwing a bunch of different shit at different walls and they're trying to see what sticks, right? Unfortunately, not everything sticks, but what I do is I keep throwing until I break the wall. I don't just see what sticks. I see what I could just keep going with, and I figure out how to basically get the most out of what I'm doing. So if you're doing something and you see that there's some sort of ceiling involved, it's up to you. Do you want to keep going and you keep smashing your head against the same wall or the same ceiling? Or do you want to find something where there's no ceiling, there's no limit to your success? It's strictly based on what the amount of effort that you do and the consistency that you do it. So no matter where you are in your life, I think you're going to get something out of the book. And once again, I call it it's called No Ceiling, No Excuses, and I think it's on sale right now. It's less than $20. You could get it right on my website at noceilingnoexcuses.com. And honestly, I think it's freaking awesome.
Freaking awesome. Yes, indeed. And what just one practical exercises from the book that readers can use to start building their dream life today?
Yeah, so there's so many. I would say the one thing I would want people to kind of take out of the book is what's called getting out of perfection paralysis. Okay, what that is just the feeling of getting stuck and not ever taking action, because inaction is it's gonna stall where you want to go. It's gonna stall where you end up, and if you're not doing something, even if it necessarily isn't the right thing to do, at least you're doing something. I always say it's better to do something wrong than to do nothing at all, because then at least you tried, right?
Yes.
So I would say if you could snap out of that autopilot mentality, don't be a Tesla, be a Ferrari, right? Snap out of that perfection paralysis and just say, screw it, I'm gonna do it.
Yes, just do it, people. And how do you encourage readers to maintain momentum after taking the first steps toward their goals?
Sorry, say that one more time.
How do you encourage readers to maintain momentum after taking the first steps? toward their goals.
So you always have to keep your eyes on the prize, right? You always have to have something that you're looking forward to. I always say you should always have at least one vacation planned in your life, right? If I don't have a vacation plan, if I don't have something I'm looking forward to, I don't feel as motivated as I should be, right? The
Yeah.
fact that I know that I'm going away, I don't know, let's just say to Italy next month, right? That's what I'm excited about. And then guess what? When I land from Italy, I'm already booking my next trip. Maybe I want to go to Iceland after that, right? Maybe I want to go to France after that, whatever. Maybe I want to go to a, I don't know, maybe I want to do a staycation. Maybe I want to stay home for 1 week, don't work, and just zone out and watch Netflix, whatever. Have something that excites you. Have something that keeps you motivated. So that way you don't get lost in the sauce, as I call it. You can't get lost in the sauce.
Definitely. Mr. Chris, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love letters in its third season, and Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Chris, what is the one key takeaway you hope every reader gains from No Ceiling, No Excuses?
I just hope that no matter where you are in your life, you don't ever feel like you are trapped to stay there. And I feel like if at any point you are feeling like you're not where you want to be, then you kind of just take a long, hard look in the mirror and you say, the only person preventing me from moving forward is myself. And you cut out all the BS, you cut out all the excuses, and you stop blaming the weather, the government, your parents, your friends for you not being where you want to be, right? Because at the end of the day, the only person to blame is yourself. Now, don't beat yourself up too much. Okay, but beat yourself up just enough to motivate yourself so that way you could go to the next level, keep leveling up, keep smashing ceilings, and stay hungry.
Mr. Chris Capuano, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. And we are hoping for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, can you please invite our listeners to support No Selling, No Excuses?
Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. That was awesome.
Yeah, so where do people buy your book, mister?
Yeah. So really simple website, www.noceilingnoexcuses.com. You could even feel free to spell it wrong. I bought every single domain possible. Leave the S off. We don't care. It's going to take you to the website at the end of the day. You could go to Amazon. Right now it's less than $20. I should be charging, I don't know, $2,000 for this book, honestly. But I think $20 is a steal. So you're paying 1%, right? So let's go ahead. Let's get some sales. My goal is right now to sell 1,000 copies. We're on the way. So whoever my 1,000th copy is, I would love to send you some sort of special gift. So let's try to keep those sales coming in. I appreciate you having me. Thank you again.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Chris Capuano, because if you support him, for sure, as I said, more and more and more empowering books like this to come, more and more empowering business to come. So, Mr. Chris, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a great day.
More to come, people. See you soon.